Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tech Tip Tuesday for November 19th, 2024. I'm your guest host for tonight, Jake Barron, Head of Operations for the Americas. And I have my amazing colleague and co-host here, Henry Pena. You all know him as our onboarding specialist here at Healy World. And we are here today. So might be thinking, where is the great Ken Close, the creator of Tech Tip Tuesday? He's couldn't make it today, but Henry and I really wanted to keep this call going tonight. So we can't replace Ken on this call, but we will fill in the best we can. And if there's something that comes up in the chat and we're like, oh, that's a great question for Ken, maybe we'll save it for next week. But we'll do the best we can today. You're in good hands with myself and Henry here. And for those of you that have not been, I see a lot of regulars here on the call, but for those of you who have not been on a Tech Tip Tuesday, everything is chat based here. So go ahead and put any questions you have directly into the chat, and then we will answer those live on the air there. So during the call today. So anything related to the Healy hardware, the apps, the functionality, some of the science behind programs, that kind of thing, we can certainly assist with. If you're looking for recommendations for, we're not here to treat certain conditions and diseases and that kind of things, protocols, that type of thing. That's not what we're doing here at Healy World. If you need help for specific topics and that kind of thing, you can actually go to our HealAdvisor search app. There's a great search function there that help you kind of get certain program recommendations depending on what's going on in your life at that particular time or what you're focused on. And of course, the Analyze app as well, which you can do the resonance analysis or analysis, coaching analysis, meridian analysis, all kinds of analysis there as well. So yeah, so we'll go ahead, as those of you that are here, go ahead and put your questions into the chat here. And, depending on the questions that come in, if we have some time, we might cover some sort of current topics that are, currently trending here at Healy World as well. We like to share a lot of those tips as well and show you how to get the most out of the resources that are available. So Henry, we ready to go here?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. And Jake, you were mentioning the HealAdvisor search module, and I know it's something that sometimes it seems simple enough, but sometimes it's a little overlooked. And something that I've noticed, like if you actually go into the little info tab on the HealAdvisor, because it does have like a tutorial mode. So if you guys haven't been familiarized with the HealAdvisor app, it does have multiple information tabs that are basically tutorials. And one of the things that I've noticed that not a lot of people know is that you can actually look there. If you actually press there, it tells you that the search module, you can look for specific programs as well for specific program groups. So you don't necessarily have to use it for, like, if you want to enter a particular keyword related to something like an issue you're struggling with, you can also search for specific programs. So like if you were to type, for example, defense, then it will show you the program defense right there. And another thing you can do right there on the search module that a lot of people don't know is that if you actually click on the program that appears, once you get your different programs, it will actually tell you the description of most of the programs that appear there. So once again, it's a really great tool. If you're not really sure what a program may do, you can always check that, the HealAdvisor search module, and see if it's there. Otherwise, you can always go to the Healy app manual to continue learning more about a specific program group or a particular program.
Yep, exactly. So let's start off. We'll go through some of our resources just as a quick reminder here. And since we have Henry as the official co-host today, maybe we'll talk a little bit about what's new on the Healy onboarding front here. So Henry, I'm gonna share my screen while we're here and
Absolutely.
just kind of, and we'll put this link into the chat. And we really, we highly recommend anybody that is, maybe you've been with Healy for a while now, or if you have people on your team that might be brand new, highly recommend that you check out the Healy onboarding program or platform, basically. You know, we'll put the link, or Henry, maybe you can put the link into the chat here.
Yeah,
while
I
we-
just added it
Okay,
right there.
okay, perfect. But this is such a great resource. You know, everything we have the basic, or Henry, maybe you want to explain the different things that are available here as far as
Yeah,
the types of
absolutely.
onboardings, the languages that are available.
Absolutely. So this is a program that we started developing because we understood the need for kind of like a hands-on guidance, and you know, like somebody who can actually help you set up your device and tell you everything you need to know about the science of Healy, how to set up your devices, and if you have any questions, someone you can rely on. And that's really what this program is all about. This Healy onboarding sessions that we started incorporating, you're more than welcome to sign up. There's plenty of availability that you can always sign up. As a matter of fact, the one that is in English, the one that says unlocking, getting started with your Healy device, I think it's all the way down. That was the first one that we incorporated. So that's going to be the one that right there at the bottom, get started with your Healy device. It's all about, you know, those who may be new to Healy, or even some of them that have been with us for a while, because I've actually had members who have been with us for years. And even though some of the topics that we cover in that particular webinar are a little bit basic, like the Healy 2 app, how to set the intensity, the science behind Healy, at least when it comes to the Healy 2 app and the individualized microcurrent frequencies, I found that even people who have been with us from the very beginning, they still get a lot of benefits from that webinar. So it's not only on the Healy 2 app and the unboxing of the Healy and the science behind Healy, we also have one right now for the HealAdvisor Analyze 2 app, which is both of these, both the one for the Healy 2 app as well as the one for the HealAdvisor Analyze 2 app, that also focuses a lot on the theory behind the information field, as well as a remote analysis, going over every single one of the different modules that you're going to find there, ARA module, resonance module, coaching module. I will also show you how to interpret the different parameters and just additional recommendations to really maximize the HealAdvisor Analyze 2 app. So currently, those are the two apps that we have. They're both available, both the Healy 2 app and the HealAdvisor Analyze 2 app sessions are available in English and Spanish. The one for the Healy 2 app is also available in Mandarin. Right now, we're only currently doing like one session a month for the Mandarin one. So just keep that in mind. But we do plan to upload a recording of that particular session eventually, which already happened. But just so you're aware, this is available for you here. You're welcome to share the link with anybody who you know that may be interested in Healy, or they may be already part of Healy, that they want to really learn how to maximize their Healy experience. So we definitely encourage you to share it with everyone. This place really is designed so you can ask questions. You get a full copy of the slide deck so that you can refer to it later. I go over different resources so that you can continue learning about Healy on your own, like the Healy Academy. So again, this is really the place to be at if you're new to Healy, or if you've been with us but you still feel a little lost and you're not really sure how to use some of the programs that we have. This is really the best place to go.
Yeah, and that first onboarding in Mandarin, in Chinese that we did last week was awesome. You know, we had a great turnout on that. We're, you know, of course, we're trying to support all the different communities here at Healy World, even if it's on a more limited basis. We're going to continue to try to do that also. And you know, there's, for those of you that haven't gone through, say, like the Analyze 2 app training, I know, Henry, we had such great feedback on the surveys and that kind of thing. Some people that have been with Healy for 3+ years said that this is the best explanation they've heard on what the information field actually is, because it can be a little confusing when you first hear about it and stuff. So it's sometimes it just takes a different way of explaining something for it to kind of catch for you too. So certainly try that out, you know. And it's, you know, these are smaller group meetings and stuff, and you know, you get to more of an interactive experience, which is great. So. Okay, so Healy Onboarding, great resource. Healy Americas Calendar, this is a great resource as well. So this is Healy Americas Events.com. Now this is where you get the most up-to-date content or meeting schedule. So everything that's on here is hyperlinked. So you see Tech Tip Tuesday. We back on election day, we didn't have that. You see that it was canceled. So, but you click on the links and it takes you right to the meeting. So if you don't remember the Zoom link, you know, whatever, for Tech Tip Tuesday, it's the same every week. It doesn't change. So it's not like you have to go get a new link every week. But if you want to, if you don't want to have to remember anything, you can always just go to this page and click on those meeting links there as well. There's also registrations for some of our in-person events too, which is cool. Like you see, there was one this past weekend in Canada. If you clicked on that link, it would take you to the Eventbrite page to register for some of these in-person events, which is another great resource too. You see, there was one here in Miami also. So, and we got a little bit already ahead here for December. You know, we have a big, November's one of our, almost always our biggest month of the year with all the amazing promotions we have throughout the whole month. And especially this month, we decided to do all of them the entire month. So just, you know, if you're waiting for something to be released next week or whatever, you know, the promos that we launched at the beginning of the month are our best promos, our best prices. You're not going to find a better deal that's going to pop up next week during Black Friday or Thanksgiving or anything like that. So if you have anyone that's kind of waiting to see, maybe there'll be something better. You know, these are our amazing offers and they're all available right now. But if you want to see what's coming up in December, those announcements, the link for Frequencies and Friends, which is a webinar that you have to register for. If you click on this, it takes you to the page to register. That way you're set for that call, which will take place on Monday, December 2nd at noon. So yeah, this is a great resource. Healy Academy. Every Tech Tip Tuesday, every Healy for Beginners and Beyond, always need to talk about Healy Academy because there's so much content in here. You could spend a whole month of your life just going through here. All the different areas, and there's been some updates over I mean, it's updated on a regular basis, but one of the newest updates is when you first log in, it takes you back to where you left off. And this is just a test account that we have here, but there's a My Learning overview essentially, which has any certificates that you've already completed the different courses. You can download those again. Again, pick up where you left off. There's a courses overview also, and then yeah, there's such great videos. You know, some of the newer ones. There's a whole section on elements that was just added in the last month or so. So if you haven't checked that out, if you're curious about our amazing new dietary supplement line, you can go check out those videos here. There's great videos about the science behind and the reason, you know, all the ingredients were picked in there, the introduction, how to use it. Very simple. It's dissolvable strips. It doesn't take much there. There's some great tips available. And then the Analyze app section has amazing videos as well. You know, these are just great overviews. It keeps things fairly simple. There's deep dives into the ore analysis and Bach flower analysis too, and there's more to come. And then for those of you that like to get more into the science behind, I mean, this section here is awesome. Like, you know, Henry, I know you watched this several times when you were putting together the Analyze app training, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because again, the information field can get a little complicated, and you'll see that if you actually go to these videos, they talk a lot about a lot of physicists, psychiatrists, psychologists. They talk about different, you know, scientists, because it can get kind of complex. But again, that's why we always encourage you to go to the Healy Onboarding experience, because I do try my best to simplify this as much as possible. And then again, if there are any questions left, we can always ask. We can have a conversation about it. And yeah, I mean, the Healy Academy, as Jake was saying, that's something that on the other onboarding session that I have of getting started with your Healy device, something I definitely always recommend every single person that shows up there. I always tell them, check out the Healy Academy. There's so much content there. If you really want to learn how to maximize your Healy device, you really want to go to the Healy Academy, focus on your self-learning experience. And even beyond the science section, we also have, you can see there's one that talks about the medical certification. You have even, because some people sometimes ask me too about the business side of Healy. There's a whole section on the business side of Healy that teaches you how to really build your community, how to start familiarizing yourself with the vocabulary that you want to use when you start sharing Healy with other people. So again, the Healy Academy really is fantastic. Super recommended to check it out. And I know in the calendar, Jake, when you were before, I know
Yeah.
it's something I always like to mention too, is that if you scroll all the way down in the calendar, you can always take a look and see the different description of every single event. So if you're ever sharing Healy with somebody and you're like, hey, you should sign up to this, check out this event calendar, you can always refer to the bottom of the event calendar to see what each of them are. And then right there, you can also find the links to actually join them, like the Healy Onboarding right there, which you will also have additional links on the right side of the event calendar to join our YouTube channel, our Facebook groups, which is
Yeah.
also very useful because our YouTube channel actually has the recordings of all of these events, just in case, because we understand everybody has busy lives. You may not be able to show up during the actual events, which is why we always make sure to record these events, like the one from today. It's going to be available soon right on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, so I thank you for mentioning that. It's a good point. And also for those of you that I know some of us have been with Healy for many years now, maybe haven't placed an order for a physical product that actually is delivered to you. But for those of you that didn't realize it, every single order these days has a getting started card in it, and then it has links to how to access all these different videos. So whether it's there's actually links to the getting started videos, there's links to the onboarding, there's links to all the different YouTube and social media pages as well. They're all QR codes. So on the back of this card, you can just scan it and get started right away. So it's very easy for somebody that just got their device for the first time to get connected, which is super cool there. And Henry, when you were talking back in Academy, I'm glad you mentioned this one section here, the medical certification, which probably not all of us have been to this page, but specifically this video here, Healy as a medical device, it's super impressive. It's guides you and kind of shows you what steps Healy had to go through to be classified as a medical device. And it's pretty impressive. I think you'll if you haven't watched this yet, you'll watch it and walk away with a even greater impression of the team behind Healy as well, and what we're have done here as far as making sure the device meets certain standards as well. So check those out when you get a chance. Certainly a great section. And when you're watching some of these videos, like say like specifically the ones related to the information field, just like we talk about how when you're using the Analyze app and doing analysis, and it's important to be present in the particular moment. Like these videos are not ones you just play and you kind of have on in the background and not really focus. Like it's very important to actually sit down and pay attention to what's going on in the video, because the concepts can be complicated, even though the videos do a great job of explaining it. To really sort of fully ingest this type of information, and maybe just watch one per day, one per day for, I think is there 7? Yeah, 7, one per day for a week, and see how it goes.
Yeah, definitely. Just a quick look at the description. You can see that the terms already start getting a little like, it says how the information, how you can always start like sharing information between the consciousness. It also says, you can learn more about how quantum teleportation works, which is again one of those concepts that I also go over on the Healy onboarding. I mean, just back in 2022 was when they Anton Zellinger, along with the rest of his team, where they won a Nobel Prize, because once again, all of the discoveries that they did with in quantum mechanics and just the different discoveries on quantum teleportation.
Yep, exactly. Such great videos there. So I'll stop sharing my screen just for now. But
And
yes,
guys, remember, you can ask as many questions as you want tonight.
yeah,
Remember, this is spaces for
yeah.
you to ask.
I know Henry and I are going back and forth here, giving you an overview of the great resources that are, because they are very important. We want everyone to have
Yes.
a great experience with Healy. And then if you aren't aware of where these resources are, you might find it a little bit difficult, but we're here pretty much every Tuesday on Tech Tip Tuesday. We have the Healy Academy, we have Henry's onboarding series as well. Pretty much, well, yeah, every day, Monday through Friday, there's some sort of onboarding session going on multiple times per day, actually. And then, of course, we have all of our social media channels, our Healy World Americas Facebook group. We have our Healy Americas channel on Telegram. We have our YouTube channel as well, where we post the recordings of all of these types of videos. And yeah, there's actually, let me see here.
Yeah, and just in case you're interested and you kind of like want to join tomorrow, folks, remember we do have the getting started with your Healy device available tomorrow. We definitely a session we have one available for tomorrow at 10 a.m. And then if you know of anybody, any Spanish speakers, we also have that one, the same one, getting started with your Healy device, but the Spanish version tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. So that's gonna be available for you.
Nice.
I see that we have a question from Dory. Says, if you have a professional edition, you get a gold edition and you log into the gold if your professional battery is dead and use the professional programs. So in that case, you will need to use the device that has those programs in order to access the programs you want to access. So if you have a Healy Professional and you have a gold, if the professional doesn't have any battery left and you try to use the gold in order to access the professional programs, you will not be able to access them, unfortunately. Same, and then that would be the case for both the Healy 2 app and the HealAdvisor Analyst 2 app. Why? Because the HealAdvisor Analyst 2 app, as we know, if you have a Healy Professional, you would have access to the resonance module, the ARA module, and the coaching module, which if you were to try to open the app and you try to use your gold edition, as soon as you open the app and you try to run any of those modules you see there, it's going to ask you to connect the proper Healy with those programs. And since it's going to detect that it's a gold edition, it will simply let you know that you will need to connect a device with access to those programs. So yeah, unfortunately, you will need to have your Healy Professional with you if you actually want to access all of your professional programs.
And actually, that's a interesting point, because this just came up today. I was talking with somebody about a gold edition and how you can actually subscribe to the resonance module on a gold edition. So even if you just have the lowest edition, for somebody that maybe just joined, they came in with a gold and they just want to try out the resonance module just for a short period of time, maybe for a couple months, or could be forever. There's no limit on it really, but you can go to the Healy shop, you pick the resonance module in the app modules section, you select the serial number that you want to put that module on, and then easy, you go from there. And then it's a great way maybe for somebody that's not sure. And then a lot of times we have, like, for example, and right now we have a 70% off all Healy upgrades promo in the month of November. Maybe somebody that had a gold, tried the resonance module for a few months on their own device, and now they want to just upgrade to whether it's a resonance plus, professional, whatever the case may be. That's a great way to do that as well. So you can subscribe to resonance module, you can subscribe individually to the aura module, and then of course you can also purchase the success coach and personal coach. Those two aren't subscription, but you can actually purchase them outright as well.
And don't ever worry about like accidentally purchasing something you don't need, because if you already have access to whatever it is that you're trying to purchase, the website won't let you get it. So it's going to be grayed out. So that's a way for you to know, all right, you will know that you're purchasing something. And I did see that Linley said that in regards to the times, so everything is gonna be Eastern time. That's gonna be the time zone for the, it's same here. Like if you actually go into the event calendar, the different times that appear there for both the events that we have online plus the Healy onboarding events, the sessions, everything is gonna be Eastern time. But that's a great question, Lily. I could definitely see, yeah, could cause confusion.
Okay,
Absolutely,
so
Lily, my pleasure. We bought our Healy years ago. I see that Marty saying, if we bought our Healy years ago, are there new or more programs that have been added or available? There's plenty of new programs, right, Jay?
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a lot, and it's kind of a multi-part answer here, because some of the
Yeah.
programs that have been, say you've had a Healy for 2 years, some programs that have been added are included automatically. Like say, for example, in the bioenergetic support, like a program like Cosmic Growth, that was added within the past 12 months, but it was added for everybody. Same thing with Coherence. That was, I think, at least 2 or 3 years ago now, but certain programs are added for everybody, and the additions have changed a little bit over time too, because when Healy first started, a resonance was the highest edition. And then, that up until 2021 or so, and then the Resonance Plus, I think, was released, I believe, in early 2022 spring. And then the professional edition as well. And now we have the Obsidian edition, which comes with every program ever created for Healy, every module, that kind of thing. And it also has access to any programs that would be added in the future as well, which is a huge benefit.
And I see that Marty's saying, like, how can they get access to those programs? And normally everything happens in the background. Like normally these are changes that we do on our end. So chances are you probably already have some of these programs that Jay mentioned right on your Healy. It would just be a matter of check it out. And if you find that there are any programs that you seem to be missing, and you can always refer to the, and I don't know if you wouldn't mind Jake sharing your screen, or I can also share mine just because I want to show the well-being tab on the website of the Healy Academy. That's how you can really get to know every single Healy edition, and that way you can confirm. Just keep in mind what Jake said, that if you purchased your Healy a long time ago, those are going to be different, the different editions, but it is possible to check the different editions right there from the well-being tab.
Yeah, exactly. So, 1 second. Okay. Henry, if you'll share your screen, I'll just.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me go ahead and share. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here, another question.
It looks like, oh, sorry, Jake. It looks like I would need to, you may need to make.
Sorry, my fault here. I did not. I announced you as the co-host, but I did not make you the co-host.
There we go. All right, so now we're good. So here we go. So this is what I wanted to show you folks. So like if you go right here on our Healy website right here, which as I always like to mention, every single one of those resources that Jake mentioned can be accessed right from our website. Healy Academy is right here. Our event calendar is right here. But a little section right here that not a lot of people know about right here on the products, Healy for Wellbeing. If you go right here, it's a very convenient, easy way to look at all of the different Healy editions, and kind of very easy way to compare one versus the other. So you have the Healy Gold edition right here. And then as you start scrolling down, you will see what all of the programs that will be included with each edition. So you have the holistic programs here, the holistic and the resonance programs, holistic resonance, resonance plus, and then lastly, we reach the professional edition right here, which will contain, of course, all of the programs from all of the previous editions. So that's another way for you to confirm whether or not you have all the programs that you're supposed to have. Just once again, just keep in mind that the editions that we used to have back in the day were a little different from this one, but you can always reach out to us, and if you want to confirm, one of our technical support agents will be more than happy to check your Healy edition, based on your serial number, and confirm that everything is nice and activated. So you can always do that. And if you have any questions about a particular program, meaning like, oh, I have this program, why I don't have it, you can always reach out to us and we'll verify why you have it or don't have it. And if you don't have it, we'll give you reasons why. We'll explain to you the date when it was added and who were the users who actually qualify for it, and all of that.
Okay, let's moving along here. Question from Yoko, thank you. Is there any program that you can set on your Healy with the coil and the program runs periodically throughout the day? So are you referring to a program that you can start once and it'll continue running, I guess, nonstop, like kind of like the Healy Atmosphere program or Mac Healy
La
Atmosphere
de Mac
program,
Healy,
where
I think
it
so.
runs indefinitely. There's, I think, the only program in the bioenergetic defense,
Probably
no,
defense, yeah, the one that you can use without the coil.
is it the protection program, I think, where it can run indefinitely? Let me
Yeah,
see. We'll pull that up, but I think there's only one program that would run on a continual basis, and that's actually a great program to run if you're at some sort of big event around all kinds of electronics and people and whatever. Kind of helps in that type of environment there. And yeah, that is a good one to run. And we'll confirm, but I believe that one just continues until you stop it.
Yeah, no, and the other thing to keep in mind, because I always like to mention that too while I'm in the onboarding session, is that particular program group, the bioenergetic defense, all of those programs, if you try to run any of those programs, it will actually tell you that you don't need any electrodes, because the technology that's being used for those programs is very similar to the one that you would use for the HealAdvisor Analyze 2 app. Which, remember, when you're using the Healy beyond the coil and beyond the cables, the Healy inside has what's known as a physical noise generator, which is ultimately what's going to be interacting with the information field and your consciousness. So that is going to be, when you use those programs from the bioenergetic defense program group, you will look at it in the instructions, and it will encourage you to use it without anything, and you're going to see a little illustration there, and it will just show the person wearing the Healy. And if you scroll down, normally you would see whether or not it can be used with a coil, and you will see that it doesn't really encourage you to use the coil in that case, because once again, it is designed to be used without any accessories. So that's something to note there, that particular program group is going to be one of the exceptions. Just like Jake said, there's even a program that it seems that you can use for an indefinite amount of time.
Yeah, and actually, I was wrong. It's not indefinite on the time on there. General protection is 77 minutes. It's some of our longer programs, definitely, that you can use there. Electrosensitivity is an 86-minute long program, so there are some of the longer ones there. But it's actually this is probably a good time to
talk about the Mac Healy, I think.
Well, Mac Healy, but also let me share my screen again, because the Healy app manual. So this is always my reference point whenever I know there's a question about duration or what the programs were designed for. So we were just talking about bioenergetic defense, and as Henry mentioned, right here, in our experience, no electrodes are required when using these programs. However, you can intensify the effect of the programs by using electrodes. So there's great information there, more information than you'll find within the app itself. Like if you click on the program or program group, there's a lot more information in the manual itself as far as what the program is for here. So, you know, as I mentioned too, as Henry mentioned, the technology, the biometric defense program unfolds its effect directly in the information field, which is a little bit different than the way the rest of the programs in the Healy 2 app work.
No, and it's very interesting. I can see right there, like I had not checked this part. It does say that they refer to the information field as the Akashic record. And I actually had someone who asked me that in one of the onboarding sessions. Like they were like, "Oh, is this similar?" And the manual says it right there.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
So download the Healy app manual. It's available within the app itself. If you go to the information section there, and you can reference it, but it's always great to have that PDF copy, easier to reference. I actually have a copy saved on my computer and then also saved on my phone itself in my file section. So I can just go back and reference it because it's easier to sort of expand it and look through it and search and that type of thing if you have it actually saved on your smart device.
And I did see the link that said like if you can just press the button again, it will replay the last program. Unfortunately, it won't work that way because what happens, let's say that you were using your program, right? Let's say you close the app, the program will continue to run, which is something that is completely possible. You can start the program, and then once it starts, you close the app. You will know that the program is still running because you're gonna see that the green light on your Healy is blinking. Once that program is over, what's gonna happen is that green light will stop blinking, and at that point, it will basically just turn off the Healy. So if you press the power button again after the program is done, what's going to happen is that the Healy will turn on again, meaning it's going to be ready for you to connect it again to the app, but it doesn't really mean that it will replay the last program that was being...
Yeah, there's still work to be done. It would basically continue off go back to that last program at that point, but it's not like a automated thing where you can continuously loop it. But it is a little bit easier after you've run that last program there. So because that's the only like when you connect to your Healy device and you pick the program and you know the little progress bar goes across and it's loading the program, it's loading only one program onto your Healy device. Nothing else lives or is stored on that particular device. So any other program that you would run, if you change to a different one, needs to be pulled down from the cloud. If you were to run that program again, you'll notice it doesn't need to load to go through that whole process as well. Yep. Okay. Let's see here.
I mean, I did see a Joko ask, like, how do you download the PDF? I'm not sure if you actually showed that step, Jake, when you were doing the demonstration on the Healy Academy.
Let me see if I can show that here. Maybe I'll just be able to hold my phone up to the screen rather than go through the process.
Yeah. Yeah, because you also have the option as Jake's, it's gonna show now that you can go to the actual app and then on the information center tab on the bottom. But yes, Joko, you can actually download the manual right from the Healy Academy, correct? That's actually the way I would recommend downloading it. It's gonna be easier to read. And not only the manual of the Healy 2 app, you also find the manual of the HealAdvisor Analyze 2 app, and a lot of other manuals and a lot of different presentations and flyers. It's gonna be under the Healy Academy. There's gonna be a section that's called downloads, and you can filter things by the type of document you're looking for, whether it's a flyer, whether it's a presentation, etc. You can filter by language too, so you can always do that by country. That's really going to be the best way to find any type of document you may be looking for.
Yeah.
I can actually show you Joko really quickly. Let me share my screen. This is what's gonna look like.
So yeah, so I should have specified you can download it from the app by going to the download section within the app. If you click on the guide, it would just pull up the actual document, but not at the point that you can save it. So those of you that are wondering what I'm talking about at the bottom here, I'm probably not gonna be able to do this. I probably should share the Well, anyway,
There we go.
well, let's just I'll need to show you where you can get it in Academy. That'll be easier.
Yeah. So this is what's gonna look like. So once you're here, you would simply go to right here where it says downloads, and there you go. So this is where you're gonna find a lot of different documents. So I said, like, just go in here, you're gonna see all the different types of documents you can find. You can find brochures, compensation plan, flyers, presentations, etc. So if you're looking for a manual, for example, right? So you would go right here, manual, and then there you go. So the one for the Healy 2 app would be this one right here. At least in the case of the United States, you can see it says United States. I'm here in the United States. You can always change the country here or the language if you want in a different language. You have one for the McHealy. You have one for the HealAdvisor Analyze 2 app too. So there you go. This is what you would download. You would simply press right here. It will download right there to your desktop and or your downloads folder. And then that's it. Very, very simple.
Okay, so that's so you can get to the download section from the Healy 2 app, or you can just go straight to Healy Academy and you'll have that information there. And we'll just show you one more way that you can download this. So if you go to Backoffice, basically the same thing here, but so I'm just logged into Backoffice into a test account that we have here. You see this menu on the left, there's a bunch of little icons. If you want to expand those out, you just click this navigation bar here, the three lines. So you can hide it or you can maximize that there. And then if you go to the tools section, click on that arrow and you'll see referral links. There's a link to Academy here, so you can get to Academy from here also. Downloads and business training. But if you go to downloads, which is what we are looking for here, same basic set of documents, but of course you can also, as Henry mentioned, you can filter by all different types. We're going to filter by manuals, and you'll see here, manual Healy app, only USA. So depending on the country and the different regulatory environment, that kind of thing, the app manual differs slightly because some of the program names are a little bit different, but just keep in mind that this is available here. I see Analyze app, the McHealy is available as well. So these are, again, very easy to download from this section from either Academy or Backoffice. So,
I think we're caught up with the questions. I think so.
okay, let's see here. This question from Dory was, is there a link for what you have saved? Was that related to the manual or was that the manual? Okay.
Also for like the things you have, maybe the things you have already downloaded from the Academy, like.
Yeah, I don't think there's a download, like a section that shows your downloads within Academy there. It would just be saved somewhere on your smart device or your computer or that kind of thing. So it's definitely a good idea to keep a Healy folder to keep everything organized there. And yeah, the manual is 49 pages. That's why it's a great resource there, and that's kind of the reason why all that information can't be put into the individual program pages because it's just too much at that point. But you can always go to the app manual, and you can just, if you're looking for something specific, just use the search function within the PDF too.
Yeah, and remember, simply everything is going to be just one file. Yes, some of them will contain multiple pages, but they will ultimately, every single one of them is just going to be one file. And just like as Jake said, you also have the option to use the search feature. And most of the time, in my experience, when I do end up using the manual, it's not really something that I have to read the whole thing every time. Usually I'm looking for something specific, and everything is going to be categorized by program group. So you can always simply look at the title at the top of each page and then look at which one are the program groups that you're actually looking for. It's very, very easy to navigate, honestly. Like it's whenever I need to find a particular program, I just look at the top of the page, make sure I'm reading the actual program group, and then scroll until I find the one I need. And remember, in page 6, there's an introduction to the Healy 2 app where it tells you what you're doing with the Healy 2 app. It tells you about the different modes of the app. It talks about the real-time mode, the resonance mode, the selection mode. It's important to understand this so that you have more knowledge in regards to what's truly happening in the background of the app and how it's harmonizing your bioenergetic field. So I definitely recommend, if you're gonna check the manual, check that page number 6, because it will give you additional information about what's truly happening in the background.
Hey, got a question here from Jim. It says, is it typical for the Healy device to lose connection with my phone if more than 5 feet away from each other? So, good question. I think a couple different factors could be at play here. If you're in a room and your Healy device is on the table and there's nothing between you and the device, there's no walls or anything like that, I would say 5 feet, you should not be losing connection that close. It does use Bluetooth, BLE, Bluetooth Low Energy, which is up to basically the 33 feet, but that's in a perfect conditions. Basically, no interference, nothing between the device and the phone, no other. And a lot of this can also be affected by other electronics around, other Bluetooth connections, that kind of thing. Can make it more difficult to connect. If you've been to maybe a Healy event where there's a lot of other devices around, like Henry, we've done some of these conferences and stuff where there's, we have 20 demo devices on the table and stuff like that, and it can get a little overwhelming, the number of Bluetooth just in one small area there as well. But Henry, any from your experience on the tech support side, or something anyone can do if they're experiencing an issue like this?
Yes, absolutely. So it really depends. So I see that it says the Healy app struggles to find the Bluetooth connection with the device. It will appear to connect, then lose connection, then go through the loop over and over again. So Jim, the very first thing would be to know whether you have an iPhone or an Android, because depending on that, I can offer you different troubleshooting steps. If it's an iPhone, it may be more straightforward. The reason why I ask this is because if you have an Android, if you have an Android, that actually is gonna give me good news, because there's a process you can do on Androids that will allow you to clear the Bluetooth cache on your device. So let me actually find those instructions here so I can share them with you so you can try that. Because I know in the past I've worked with members who have had issues similar to the one that you're having. And then once they do that, it improves. Now, I must say, I personally never walk away from my Healy with the app still on. Normally what I do is that I set everything up. I have my Healy, I connect, and then once I'm done, I make sure the intensity is correct, especially if I'm using the coil, right? If I'm using the coil, I put it on, set everything up, conductivity is good, everything's good. And then what I do is that I fully close the app, because what that's gonna do is that it's going to interrupt the Bluetooth connection between your phone and your Healy, but your program will continue running. You're gonna know this because your Healy will continue transmitting. So that's a way for you to make sure that there won't be any connections issue, because yes, if I were to be running a program and I walk away from my Healy, it will disconnect, maybe not within 5 feet, but it will eventually. If I get out of the room, I am certain it will disconnect, which is why I usually just close the app to prevent anything weird from happening as I'm walking away from my phone, because I'd rather be the one responsible and in control of interrupting that Bluetooth connection by simply closing the app than letting interference and lack of connection as I walk away to be what determines the connection between the Healy and the phone. I'd rather just close it myself. But let me share those troubleshooting steps with you, Jim, on how to do that. So here it is. So you would go right here is those that I shared there. So those are specifically for Android. There is an option for you to clear the Bluetooth cache. So what you would need to do, you would need to go to your phone settings, then select apps. So you would go to phone settings, applications, right? Apps. And then you're gonna have to go to all applications. And then at the top, usually in the top right corner, there's going to be like a little 3-button menu or something like that. That's where you're gonna be able to select to see all of your system apps. So that's gonna show a lot of different like apps that are kind of weird that normally you wouldn't see there because they're system apps, they're programs that are pretty much just running on the background of your phone. And you do want to enable that in this particular process because that's what's gonna give you access to the application that is the Bluetooth application. Once you enter there, just like with any other app, you're gonna get the option to clear the storage or the cache. In this case, we're gonna clear the storage. Once you do that, you're welcome to try again. As I said, just today, I know we had a customer who was having issues connecting their Healy to their phone. They also had an Android. It was kind of happening that they were having trouble connecting and keeping a stable connection. They followed those same various steps that I just shared there, and then everything worked fine. If you have trouble following that, Jim, you remember you can also, I'm certain you can find the same steps on YouTube. Maybe it's gonna be easier to follow along on a, on a phone with a video there. But the steps, I can promise you those are very effective and they only work on Android. And my
Yeah.
pleasure, my pleasure.
And Henry, so if Jim goes through this process, would you recommend also after he's cleared this, might as well go ahead and turn the phone completely off and turn it back on just to kind of, I'm guilty of not doing this very often, even though we talk about it on Tech Tip Tuesday all the time. The importance of actually just turning your device off on a regular basis. I'll probably go weeks. I shouldn't say this because I tell people not to do this on this call, but unless my phone dies because it hasn't been charged, that's usually when I actually reset it or turn it off because you've got so much things built up there. In addition to clearing the Bluetooth cache, clearing the
Yes,
storage, great to just turn it off every once in a while as well.
absolutely agree. And especially on Android, I found that it has happened to me that the Healy is working perfectly fine, and I'm like, it's working. But then it ends up being that it's my phone, the one that's being kind of silly, and I have to restart it. And then after I restart it, then it works just fine. So definitely a great idea. And then I see that Joko asked if there is a similar troubleshooting step for iPhone. There actually isn't. I feel that sometimes iPhones tend to be a little more straightforward when it comes to these things, kind of like things that are already happening in the background and you don't really have access to that. So in this case, you will not be able to really clear the Bluetooth cache on iPhone. But that also kind of puts things into a positive side because that means that you really shouldn't have to do that at all. In that case, if you do end up having any sort of Bluetooth issues with your iPhone, my recommendation would be to reset your Healy. And you remember, you can always do that by holding the power button just like this. And then after around 10 seconds, you're gonna see that the green light will light up right here. So that's really always going to be the first troubleshooting step you're gonna wanna follow if you ever have trouble connecting your Healy. And then the second one would be to restart your phone, just like Jake said, making sure that you don't have unnecessary apps open there. So if you don't know how to close an app, again, there's always YouTube videos you can watch. But depending on the type of phone that you have, usually there is some sort of gesture you can do on your phone that will show all of the different apps. And then there's usually a button that says close all. Then you would close all of the apps. Alternatively, if you have a phone that actually has buttons at the bottom, there's usually a button there that will show all of the different apps. Then you can simply close them one by one or simply press the close all button.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
that's
everyone's heard the IT jokes. You go to IT, something's not working. They ask you, "Did you restart your computer? Did you restart your device?" Because a lot of times that does fix the issue.
yeah,
It's not because they're not trying to be nice, but yeah. So for
it
example,
works.
yeah, you can turn your Bluetooth off. Just turn it off completely, not just related to the Healy device. Restart your iPhone, turn it back on, turn the Bluetooth back on. And then if you're still having issues, you can always just, especially when related to the Healy 2 app, it's not storing any data or anything. You can just delete it and reinstall it at that point. Very easy to do. Most times, if you're having some sort of connection issue, that will fix um, what you're going through there. And then also, I think we've had this question too, where maybe you've connected to a bunch of like I have when we go to these events and these demo devices, I might have I still do. I actually probably should do this, but you have a list of like 20 Healy devices on your Healy 2 app because devices that you've connected to over time. There's not a way to manually select which ones you want to delete. And if you only have 2 devices normally, it can get kind of hard to find the one that you want to connect to unless you have the serial numbers memorized. But deleting the Healy 2 app and reinstalling it kind of clears that process as well. So you don't have all those devices that you want to scroll through. Or maybe you gave a device away, you did a device transfer to somebody else, and you no longer have that device, so there's no reason to have it show up when you're trying to connect.
Now, I know now that you mentioned that, Jake, something cool about the app though is that even though it will show you all of the like a history of all of the devices that have been previously connected to the app, it will only let you connect to the one that's actually on. So if you're trying to connect, like let's say you have 2 Healy devices, right, and they're both nearby, you will know for sure that you're connecting it to the right one because it will only let you select the one that's on. Otherwise, it will not be clickable there. So that's something cool that the app does so that you can always make sure you're connecting to the right Healy.
Yep. Okay, we've reached the end of the hour here. Quick note for those of you that were looking for the next Healy for Beginners and Beyond. We are actually going to try out a new format. Henry and I are working on some cool stuff. And later this week or next week, we're going to start posting some short Healy for Beginners Beyond, basically shorts. A different section that'll be a couple minute long tips that are easy to consume, short to watch, easy to share on a bunch of different topics. So we're gonna start that here over the next week or so and kind of try to add to that on a regular basis as well. But the Tech Tip Tuesday format, no changes there. But be on the lookout for some new format for some of the content related to Healy for Beginners and Beyond. So we're excited to share some of those with you all soon. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Henry. Thank you for everyone joining, asking the questions. I hope you got a ton of great information here. And again, this recording will be available on our YouTube channel at HealyAmericas.com. Should be up there in the next 48 hours, and you can always go back and review the recording. If you want to save the chat from today's call, click those in the chat section. If you click the, if you click the 3 dots next to the Healy Tech Tip Tuesday, you'll see a section that says Save Chat. That'll save the chat directly to your computer if you're joining us from a desktop or a laptop, that kind of thing. So yeah, thanks again. We should be back at full strength next week with Ken back as well. But hope you all enjoyed today's call. Appreciate you all joining and participating, and we will talk to you all soon.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful night. Take care.